girls, guys, this is Madam Natasha, Black Kitten 0069, coming at you again. This video is mostly for the females out there, unless you're CD or TF. This video would not really benefit guys unless you feel like you can find some kind of lessons in here. This video is for the pro-dominates, the dominatrixes, the mistresses, and TSs or cross-dressers who are now taking on the role of being a female top. I want to first thank you for coming out, taking the courage to come out and take on this role and wear this crown. There are a lot more submissives and slaves in this life and lifestyle than there are tops, and it takes a certain special kind of female to be able to wear this crown. So I want to thank you for that from the bottom of my heart. As I stated in June, I'm going to apologize that this video is a month late. Like I stated previously, June would be a bitch to me, which it was. I was really caught up in a lot of my emotions. I'm still somewhat caught up into that, but we gotta push forward. That's an adapting mechanism that we all must enjoy. So, let's get started. First rule of thumb is, before you can control anyone, you must first learn how to control yourself. A baby can wield a flogger or a crop or a cane. If there is no control within yourself, then you cannot control others. This is a lesson that I am always striving for. This is not a lesson that happens overnight. This takes discipline within yourself. You are basically your first submissive that you have to dominate and control. Me personally, I lose control when I am emotionally involved with people, that's why I don't attach myself to too many people, because when emotions come up and arise, I don't know how to deal with them. I can go from happy to sad to love to fall in love with that person to fear to anger in a matter of seconds. This is one of those hard lessons that you have to learn, and that's to control self. The second one is find out your likes and dislikes. Find out what you like to do and how you like to do it. What kind of dominator do you want to be? Before you come out here. And once you establish that, then you can pretty much go for that, because you have a foundation of what you will and will not tolerate. Third thing to consider is never ever think you know it all. I don't know it all. I constantly, continuously to learn and seek knowledge and gain knowledge. I don't think I know it all. I'm always looking for more things, more knowledge, and to expand knowledge. Now, let's talk about some of the people that you may meet. We have to first understand, one thing you have to understand is that a lot of these people that you're going to be your play partners or your play dates, or you're going to have play dates with, are people who are leaders in their everyday life, and possibly in some of your everyday life. These people are movers and shakers. These people can be from politicians all the way down to the manager of KFC. Some of these people do not appreciate or do not think women as equals. These people will bring this attitude into your scene play. A lot of them will try to convince you to do things that you are not comfortable with. Majority of the time, they're trying to convince you to have sex with them. And if they're just your play partner or play dates, sex should never ever be on the table at all, especially if it's in a situation where they're going to pay you for a session. Once your sex is involved, you are now considered soliciting and going to go to jail for prostitution. You never know who these people are, so I suggest for you not to chance it. What I normally do, like on College Space, where I kind of fish for subs, and either for a part-time or long-term basis or play dates, is I will, if they message me, this is something that you can do, you can take it or leave it. If they message me, as soon as they message me, I look at their profile. Or as soon as they look at my profile, I look at their profile. And I will write on a little scratch pad on the computer what the things that are the fetishes that I like, that I would enjoy in, engaging with them. The ones that are not, that are hard limits for me, then I will not, I wouldn't even list them. I totally ignore them like I never saw them. So when they message me and I message back, I can tell them, oh, I see that you like this, this, and this, and that. I also like this and this, then that. I would love to engage in these, fetishes with you. 99 times out of 10, what normally ends up happening is they will start then talking about the ones that are my heart limits, or things that I would not enjoy doing. And as soon as that person says hello to you, you must realize that you are in control of that conversation, and that no matter what they try to convince you or promise you, you cannot steer from your intentions of, I'm only willing to go this far with you. Anything after that is, you can tell them either I'm not the person for you, or you can good luck in, finding someone else who will indulge in these conversations with you. You will also get some crazy, weird requests. You will get kidnapping requests, which I believe there's a group in New Orleans that does kidnapping, voluntary kidnapping. You will get castration, chemical castration, or even medical castration. Anytime that there's something that might be potentially dangerous, make sure that if that person is serious about it, make sure that you specify that in order for you to do certain things that you may get in trouble for a long time, that they would have to sit down and draw this out with a lawyer, the attorney. Always protect yourself. Attorney or somebody that, they will have to draw up paperwork. I had someone who wanted to do a kidnapping, and I basically, he wanted tribute. He wanted to tribute me to do this. And I just basically drew it out for him, like, for me to drive from where I lived to where I would need money to rent a car. I would need, to pay someone to, help me drive from where I lived to, where he lived. I would have to, it was expenses. We would need food money. We would need a place to stay, on our way going up and on our way coming back down. We would need, money to rent a room for him as well. And, when I started adding up the cost, he wasn't too happy. I think it was like $2,000, $3,000. So he wasn't too happy, which if he was serious, I would be like, yeah, no problem. Here's, no issue. So, there's certain things you can do and say that you can fish out who's real and who's not. A lot of times that people will say they have set appointments with you, either play date professionally, non-professionally, or unprofessionally, and they will say that they'll make appointments with you, and they will talk to you up that whole day or that whole night up to till the hour or 2 hours that they're supposed to meet you, and then never show up. So you have those people too. I also had a situation. This is an example of bullying. Not bullying. I don't know why I keep saying bullying. This is an example of a submissive. There was a person here in Texas who was apparently very influential. The lie, they will lie to you. I normally don't mess with married men. I don't play with people who are married or in a relationship, simply because I don't need the drama. All it would take is for the wife or the girlfriend to see the text one time, and she's not going to ask questions. She's not going to ask him questions. She's going to call you. She's going to text you. She's going to harass you. She's going to email you, and she's not going to be happy. She's going to attack you. Me being the age I am, if I'm in a situation like that, I'm going to attack him first. And, you know, she's not even in my sphere. But, you know, that's came with wisdom, and being the age that I am. So, this guy, going back to the example, this guy pretty much wanted, like, majority of them wanted sex. And I basically told him that was a hard limit for me, and he basically stated he won't do anything. They will always promise to do anything. So my anything was to make him into a sissy. And mostly because he had showed the process of he did not appreciate women. He did not think they was equal. He thought they were less than nothing. And he also thought that black men were less than nothing. So those two things, I wanted him to know what it was like to be a female. And not only that, I wanted him to put him in a position where he had no choice but to service black men. He did it up to a point. Eventually, you know, because he was a homophobe as well, it kind of started getting to him. He stopped seeing me. This year, he contacted me, and, you know, it was still on that same note, even though I had stated that my heart limit was my heart limit. All he wanted to talk about was his non-functional penis. So those are the things that you will come up across. Anything that's dangerous, please make sure that you know that legally they have to arrange some kind of legal documentation from a lawyer stating that they give you permission to do whatever it is. You know, blood cutting, stuff like that. Make sure it's legal and documentized, so that if anything goes wrong, you know, because you're not a doctor, you know, you have protection. If you just don't feel comfortable with it, don't do it. That's the best thing to do. It's just not to do it if you don't feel comfortable with it. If you don't feel that YouTube can help you learn how to cut someone's penis off and all the other stuff, we'll put it in a jar. But that's another one. Just don't do it. Let's see. I'm going to call those people kind of like macho stars. Yeah. So another thing that you have to be wary of is the ones who are really submissive. They've grown with wisdom, and they really are submissive, and they give this appearance where their whole life and existence is to worship a female. But the problem with that is, with those kind of people, is that they do not look at a Dommia or a demi-goddess as being a flesh and blood female. They can't even fathom or imagine you having children, you having a family, you being in love, your heart breaks, you being in pain or being emotional. They cannot fathom that. To them, if you have emotions or feelings, you are kind of like alien to them. So that's the downside of those kinds of people, of those who say they do nothing but worship a female. They worship the goddess of the female. However, they have to understand that every mythological goddess, no matter what the culture, from Africa, Egypt, Greek, they all had human qualities. They all had humanistic feelings. They all had envy. They all envious. They were all, jealous. They were all love. They all had the 7 deadly sins upon them. So, yeah, that is definitely something that you would have to deal with too. I mean, like I should stipulate here that these are my experiences that I'm sharing with you. You can take them or leave them, but a lot of times, especially the humanistic part, a lot of my friends have the same, or sisters have the same experience where guys did not feel like they were human, or did not treat them like they were human, but an object of statue that for them to worship. The last thing that you have to worry about is other doms. Other doms, you will come into contact and sometimes in conflict with them, simply because they believe that you should submit to them. They believe that this is something that is an all boys game, and that all women should submit to them. I had one time I went to, even in the Dommia community, one time I went to an event because, I got tired of being a little chocolate chip and a whole bunch of milk. And the instantly I walked in, it was like, oh, you need to submit to me. And I overheard one of the guys that were there stating that, all these women walking around acting like men. Needless to say, that was the first time and the last time that I went to that party. I basically went to that party because I wanted to be around people who was in the BDSM community, who was people of color like myself. But I'm not going to submit, and just because. Now, in an ideal BDSM or DS, dominant submissive, intimate relationship or long-term relationship, you would either find a submissive of your dreams who was willing to die for you and jump in front of a bullet for you to save you, or you will find a dom that you and them have a core understanding, and you have something that imitates, that looks like equality. I know that I stated that there's no equality, but even within that equality, there's a exchanging of power. So, yeah. Because the dom that is a male or female in your relationship has submissive qualities. You have submissive qualities. You can alternate and negotiate times when one leads and the other follows, and what parts and aspects of your life that one leads and the other follows. So that is, you're basically whole. That's the ideal of a dom-domain relationship. However, I've never came across it. I have associates that have that. The guys were submissive for a very long time before, the wife allowed the husband to become, that dom in her life. But a straight up dom coming to me 99 times out of 10, they want me to submit, which is not going to happen. I always want to, when they show interest, I always want to know how we will make it work, as far as a relationship, which would be, out every day, day to day. Do we play with each other's play days? Will you play with guys? Will I be allowed? Can I be allowed to? Will I be allowed to play with guys only? Or girls? And my guys? Do I have to give up my guys? Or am I allowed to play with the girls? And, it's just all about negotiation. So that's it. Another thing please be careful of how you portray yourself. When you make a name for yourself, please be careful, and you make a decision on what you're going to do. Please be careful how you portray yourself. I personally don't really have, on the websites I don't have pictures of me too displayed, too outlandish. I see a lot of young Dommies out here who have vaginal shots, or have anal shots, or have, pictures like that. Again, this is sexual, not sex. So you have to portray sexy. You have to portray that image of, I'm the sugar honey iced tea, but not be whorish or thought. I just recently put up like pictures of my upper body, and that's because I like adult nursing and adult breastfeeding. Again, I don't do those things unless I'm in a relationship, but it's to get, hey, I'm down with this thing. Which also goes back to me being submissive and not human, because I have milk. I'm automatically a milkmaid, and I'm submissive because I have milk, and I've had a child, or had a miscarriage. I'm not human. I'm an alien. That's not something that Dommia or goddess has. So just be careful of how you portray yourself. You don't want to get into a situation where every sub that you come across thinks that you're a blow-up doll, because they will. If you give them that appearance, they will take that appearance and nothing else from you. So be careful. BDSM, for those who are interested, and I don't know if I said this earlier, but BDSM is not it's not a rags to riches kind of thing. It is a legal adult industry. It's not a rags. You cannot get rich overnight. I have known a lot of people who've done this for a long, long time, and they, who are pro-domies, and they're not just relying on the sub to pay their rent and all the other stuff. They have to work, and they have to take up gigs, and whatever gig it is, they take up those gigs to make ends meet. So yeah, this is, if you came into this lifestyle because you think you're going to have lots of money and you're going to retire, it could happen. You may get lucky. It could happen, but the majority of the times, it won't happen. If it does happen to you, please come back, share your story, because tell me your secret. But yeah, you may do well off prostituting or being a stripper to make that multi-billion-dollar retirement money rags to riches story. So let's see. Also about presentation of yourself, how you present yourself. See, this is what, something like this. When a sub comes to my home and I do private sessions in my home, my sessions are normally free. I'm a lifestyler first, and pro-dominant second. I will never ever demand money, which might be my fail. However, if you do agree, if you want to give me a true root, I will not turn it down. But a majority of times a sub will come to my house, and when I do private sessions, and they will find me in a t-shirt and long pants. They will not see anything part of my body part. If I do dress up for a sub, which is hardly very seldom, normally I would dress up for a sub that, one, I either have played with, like in the community, which I have not been in the community here in Austin, or two, we've had this conversation where I feel comfortable enough with them to dress up. Yeah. Now, making a name for yourself. Once you make a name for yourself in your city, in your state, in your community, when you move, that name no longer carries weight. When you move, you're in a new state with a new community, and you don't have to like impress them, but you basically have to carry that name over, and you have to strategize on how you would do that. When I first moved down here, well, not first moved down, a year after I moved down here, a couple months after I moved down here, I started a meetup group, and one of the females from Fat Life, she had just moved down here, and she started taking classes on how to be a Dommia. She started doing all this stuff on, trying to make her name known. And even though, and I just didn't understand it because she was already known from where she was. I don't know how that worked out for her. I don't see her on Fat Life anymore. And when I did call her, even though I knew that her voice, she said it was not her and that I had the wrong number. So I don't think that worked out too well for her. But basically, don't be afraid. Get out and make yourself known. When you're in your community where you're at now, if you don't know who if you don't know you, make yourself known. Don't be afraid to go to, if you're in New York, don't be afraid to go to TESS. I love TESS. TESS is a wonderful organization. If you're, don't be afraid to go to New York Paddles NYC. They are they throw themselves, the guys in there throw themselves at you. If you walk in there, you just will be just welcomed. Don't be afraid to just be you. Once you cross that line of fear, the world is your oyster. Although I've been here 3 years, I haven't really been active in the community because I had a fear of what others said about the community. I had a fear about driving into the country. First, I didn't learn how to drive, and secondly, now that I do know how to drive and I'm exploring a little bit more, and I have drove in the country, I don't have that fear anymore. So I plan to start going to events. They're going to be surprised to see me because I've been here 3 years and they've known about me. Although I have not been actively active, I have gone to munches. I have here and there. I have participated in local groups online or made comments and added discussions. When I was running my meetup group was between meetup.com and FetLife because I was trying to build a social group that could bridge that thin line between vanilla and BDSM. So I've been active, but not actively active, if that makes sense. So that's one of the things you should do. Just basically be active. So here, as to wrap this up, 1, learn how to control yourself. 2, know who you want to be, what kind of Dommia you want to be. 3, know your play partners, what you were, stand your ground and make them respect you. Don't make them try to persuade you into doing anything that you do not want to do. For sex and paid sessions is considered prostitution. Keep yourself safe. Also, if there's anything weird or crazy, make sure that they draw up a legal documentation. Sex with your DS relationship if it's in a relationship, is fine, but otherwise not. No, there's no others off. Yeah, and they can get out. Don't be afraid. Now, believe me, that day that I stopped being afraid and stopped listening to people, and I went to Paddles NYC. I don't remember the date. It was that was like the first time I could ever breathe in all my life. I felt so free that it was amazing. So if this is your desire and you have been playing with this idea behind closed doors for a while, step out on that limb and make that leap of faith. I will be doing another video about toys. I will be showing you some of my toys. I don't have that many. I will be discussing how you can start out a small beginner's kit of toys and where to go. My toys are pretty much, they haven't been used that much, but I will show you my favorites of food that I have. Until then, keep it classy, keep it sexy, and always keep it kinky. Bye for now.